The lack of transparency in defense deals, the Congress is well aware, has been the undoing of governments in the past. The Rafale deal has now lit a political firestorm. Is the government hiding something? Is this the BJP's Bofors moment? Or is this simply a storm in a teacup? Let's look at the claims made by both sides and fact check them. It's Friday, July 27th. Claim 1. The Congress claims the deal negotiated for 126 medium multi-role combat aircraft for the Air Force under its rule was much cheaper than the contract signed by the Modi government. The party says the per aircraft price under the deal inked by the NDA came to 1,600 crore rupees as against the 520 crore negotiated during the UPA.
Well, this controversy about the cost of the aircraft has degenerated into a political mudslinging issue rather than a military, technical and commercial issue. The fact is that the Congress is claiming that the price is higher than it actually is. The BJP is claiming the price is lower than it actually is. Now, figures can be made to say anything, but here let me quickly summarize for you is the cost of the deal as it actually has taken place. The cost of the aircraft itself, 36 aircraft, is 3.3 billion euros. That is about 91 million euros per aircraft each. And in addition to that, there are some India-specific enhancements which are very much a part of the aircraft. They relate to capabilities like the radar, capabilities like avionics and so on. They are very much a part of the aircraft. That's another 1.7 billion euro, taking the cost of the aircraft up to 5 billion euro. Now that is what the actual cost of the aircraft is, and in addition the deal contains three other components. One is a logistics component where the Dassault guarantees that it will maintain 75% availability of the aircraft at all times. There is a cost of weapons and equipment which is 700 million euros, and there is the cost of spare parts which is another 1.8 billion euros. Now when you add all of these up, these are not a part of the aircraft and should not be included in the aircraft price. Calculating in that manner, the aircraft price actually comes to 917 crore rupees, which neatly straddles what the Congress is saying and what the BJP is saying. It falls somewhere halfway in between. But figures are being juggled around, all kinds of manipulations are being done in arguments, but my calculation as an independent analyst is that 917 crore is the cost of the aircraft. That's about 3 times the cost of a Sukhoi 30.
Claim 2. The government has said that revealing the price details would essentially reveal the aircraft's capabilities, details about weapon systems, and will compromise our national security.
The BJP is being disingenuous in linking the capabilities with the price. I just gave out the price. All I said was India-specific enhancements. I did not reveal any capabilities, any technical sort of specifications. All you need to say is India-specific enhancements cost 1.7 billion euro, which is what that Defense Ministry spokesperson did say. So now to suddenly say that by revealing the price in the manner that we just did, you're also revealing capabilities of the aircraft to the enemy. Now that's sheltering behind security that does not sustain itself in any serious argument. To sort of sum up, I think that the BJP is trying to hide the price of the aircraft for the simple reason that when Mr. Modi announced the deal standing next to President Hollande in Paris in April 2015, he said this deal will be at a price that is significantly lower than an existing ongoing procurement. He was referring to the other tender for 126 medium fighters. As it turns out, the cost is not cheaper than that, and the BJP realizes that. Now, this is not to say that any wrongdoing took place or that money changed hands, but the simple fact is that when Mr. Modi announced that it would be cheaper, it has not turned out to be cheaper, and I think the BJP realizes that if it puts out the prices in the public domain, both prices, and the comparison is made, everybody will jump on the BJP and say, well, it's turned out to not be cheaper. What do you have to say?
Claim 3. The BJP has claimed that the government is bound by the confidentiality provisions of a 2008 pact signed with France and so cannot share the details. It also points to a statement released by the French government last Friday that says there is a secrecy pact between the two countries.
It doesn't take a great intellect to figure out that if the Indian government tells the French government, listen, we're having a problem with the deal in Parliament, we need you to issue a statement, my guess is the French government would issue a statement the way the government wants. But as it turns out, the French government statement does not specify any kind of confidentiality over the commercial aspects of the deal. The French government statement really specifies technical and security issues, which does not necessarily include price. Price is a purely commercial issue. It's something that has to do with a negotiation between the government. It has nothing to do with enemy finding out capabilities of your aircraft and so on. I think as a democratic country, if we in India start accepting the government's argument that everything is covered by a veil of security and we cannot reveal the prices for one reason or the other, we will be walking down a slippery path towards a total lack of accountability.
Claim 4. The Congress alleges cronyism in Anil Ambani's Reliance Defence being picked to partner French company Dassault as an offset partner. This at the cost of India's public sector aerospace and defence unit, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited or HAL. Reliance Defence, remember, has no experience in aerospace technology.
Everybody understands the relationship the Prime Minister has with certain business people. Everybody knows it. Everybody understands and everybody can see the amount of money that goes into the marketing of India's Prime Minister. And everybody understands who it comes from. One of those people was given the Rafale contract. And he benefited thousands and thousands and thousands of crores. The contract was taken away from HAL.
Well, let me briefly sum up the offset clause for you. The offsets clause in the case of this deal were 50% of the value of the deal. The value of the deal was 7.8 billion euro. So therefore, Dassault and Thales, which are the two main vendors of the Rafale, are responsible for putting about 3.9 billion euro, spending that in India. Now, there are many ways in which offsets can be discharged according to the offset policy. One is by manufacturing parts, components, and so on. In other words, galvanizing Indian defense industry in order to sort of develop capabilities within India. There are other ways, such as the supply of high technology items. There are other ways, such as investing in an Indian fund that invests in the defense industry. So there are 3 or 4 ways that offsets could be discharged. And it is up to the government to specify that I want you to discharge offsets in a particular manner. And mostly defense analysts are in agreement that getting technology and access to technology is the best way to utilize this offset lever. But if you turn around and say, no, we're not interested in getting into this, we don't care how offsets are discharged by Thales and by Dassault, in the case you're essentially letting go an opportunity. Now, when it also turns out that that opportunity was discharged in partnership with an industrial group in India that is known to be close to the BJP, the ruling party, that certainly sets some alarm bells ringing. When it turns out that that particular group has no defense experience at all, that also sets off alarm bells. When it turns out that that defense group is also deep in debt and there are big question marks over its financial sustainability, again that raises question marks. So there are many big question marks over this deal, and to turn around and say that Dassault just happened to choose Reliance Defence, and it's just a pure coincidence that Reliance Defence is known to be close to the BJP and perhaps has funded the BJP in Gujarat. I don't think that argument washes with any serious observer.
Claim 5. There have been unconfirmed reports of the Rafale's role as the fighter plane for the delivery of nuclear weapons in a strike role. Abhijit Mitra Iyer, writing for the Observer Research Foundation, says India is asserting its rights as a nuclear weapons power, and France is helping us do this at great risk to itself. And the Indian public discourse seems intent on proving India is an unreliable partner.
It's an argument that does not sustain itself in the face of any serious investigation. India already has two types of aircraft that are equipped for nuclear delivery role. It has the Mirage 2000, it has the Jaguar. Both these aircraft are being currently upgraded so that their lifespan goes on to beyond 2030, in the 2030 to 2035 range. So we have absolutely zero need for a nuclear delivery aircraft at this point in time. We are just trying to sort of create an aura of nuclear delivery over the Rafale. We already have nuclear delivery aircraft. That's point number one. Point number two is aircraft delivery of nuclear weapons is the most vulnerable and the least desirable form of aircraft delivery. We've got a perfectly good set of nuclear delivery ballistic missiles. We've got a submarine launched capability of nuclear weapons. We do not need to spend 7.8 billion euro to upgrade an existing capability that already exists and which is your last option in any case for nuclear delivery. This is an entirely ex post facto argument. It does not wash in the face of any serious sort of nuclear examination. If we really did want to have aircraft delivery of nuclear weapons, we have already mated the BrahMos missile with the Sukhoi 30. All we need to do is to put a nuclear warhead capability on the BrahMos, and the Sukhoi 30 also becomes your third delivery type of aircraft for nuclear role. This is not a serious argument at all. This is just trying to legitimize the Rafale by cloaking it with the cloak of nuclear secrecy.